Hello and welcome to Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. My name is Kelly and I'm a former wedding planner and blogger, and I'm obsessed with weddings. If you're planning a wedding in Ireland, you're in the right place. You're going to learn the tried and tested methods to planning your dream wedding without the added stress. Think of this as your one-stop shop for everything to do with planning your wedding in Ireland, with me, your new wedding planning bestie, and a cup of tea. This is Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. Well, hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online podcast. My name is Kelly, and if you're watching the video, you might notice that my hair looks a little better than normal. That's because this time I put in a little bit of effort, because today we're talking all about bridal hair care mistakes. And I didn't want to be that person who ironically had really bad frizzy hair in the episode. So I tried. But I actually have some really awesome guests who are going to join me today. I've got two wedding hair care experts who are going to help me to communicate some of the crucial things that you should and shouldn't be doing leading up to your wedding. So what we're going to do is we are going to go through 4 wedding hair care mistakes that brides tend to make, but not just so that I can scare you. I don't want you to be scared. I want you to know what to do instead of making those mistakes. So that's why I've got these 2 experts who are going to help me. We're going to get stuck into the very first bridal hair care mistakes, and that has to do with hair extensions. In fact, there are actually a couple of mistakes that brides make. One is the type of hair extensions that are chosen, and 2 is the time frame in which the decision is made. So the mistake, or the 2 mistakes that you want to avoid here, is choosing the wrong hair extensions and then waiting till the last minute. So I had a chat with Emma Kay, who she's a hair care expert, but she also specifically knows a lot about hair extensions. So if you're thinking about getting hair extensions to add some length or some volume to your hair on your wedding day, then you need to pay attention to mistake number 1 and 2 kind of rolled in together, and exactly how you can avoid it. Well, take a listen to what Emma Kay has to say.
Today, we are diving into a question I get asked a lot. Why do we, as bridal stylists, recommend clip-in hair extensions over permanent extensions for your wedding? So firstly, clip-in hair extensions offer choice. Unlike permanent extensions, clip-ins can be moved around and positioned exactly where you need them. This flexibility is crucial for creating those gorgeous, elevated hairstyles you see all over Instagram and Pinterest. Whether you're dreaming of an intricate updo or flowing waves, clip-in hair extensions can give you the freedom to achieve this perfect look. Another key reason we suggest clip-ins is the ease of styling. With clip-ins, you can create the volume and length needed for backcombing and other techniques to add texture and dimension to your hair. And remember, so important, they are damage-free. So this means your stylist can sculpt and refine your hairstyle to perfection, ensuring every strand is in place for your walk down the aisle. Lastly, it's essential not to leave ordering your hair extensions to the last minute. Planning ahead allows you to find the perfect match for your colour and texture, and it gives you time to practice your style with your stylist at your trial. As a stylist, believe me when I say you don't want to be scrambling to find the right extensions at the last minute. So remember, for the ultimate bridal hairstyle, clip-in hair extensions are your best friend.
That was Emma Kay sharing all about hair extensions, specifically clip-in hair extensions, and her piece of advice not to wait until the last minute because you don't want to be scrambling. And so if you are looking to, add volume, add length to your hair for your wedding day, then make sure that you are taking Emma Kay's advice, going for the clip-ins and not waiting until the last minute to find the right hair extensions for you. Let's move on to the next hair care mistake. We're talking here about experimenting with new products. So if you are doing your hair before the wedding and you decide that you want to go for a new look, great. The hair care experts always advise that about 6 months before the wedding, you stop experimenting. So that is particularly true for any kind of at-home hair care. Things like box dyes, things like at-home haircuts. If you have been known to trim your own hair, I trim my own bangs, and let me tell you, sometimes it goes well, sometimes it does not. So right before your wedding, you don't want to be cutting your own fringe. You don't want to be doing little trims here and there, but you also don't want to be including any new products in your hair care routine. Now, the reason for all of this is when it comes to style, you just don't know how things are going to turn out. And you may do something new to your hair, not like it, and then you may not have enough time to rectify the situation, and you might be stuck with it or with the consequences of a really botched haircut or hair dye experience. The other thing is that if you're experimenting with new products, there's always a chance that there's going to be an allergic reaction. The last thing you want is 6 months before your wedding to be using a new product and your hair starts to fall out, your scalp gets really dry or infected. There are just so many things that can go wrong. And that's not only when it comes to your wedding. At any point when you're using new products for the first time, when you're doing your own hair dye and haircuts, there's so many things that could go wrong. But when you're doing this just before your wedding, you don't give yourself enough time to fix the situation, to get your hair back into really good condition so it's healthy and shiny and looking its best right before the wedding. So don't experiment with new products or dyes or styles in the 6 months before your wedding day. With our next wedding hair care mistake, this is probably one that you may have anticipated I was going to share, and you're right, I'm going to talk about hair trials. So whenever I get an opportunity to talk about hair trials or makeup trials, I always advise that brides go for it. You might be thinking, do I have the money for this? But you know what? You can't afford not to have a wedding hair trial. And I spoke with Danny Patterson, who is an award-winning hairstylist. She'll tell you a little more about that. But I asked her about hair trials. So the mistake that we're trying to avoid here is skipping a hair trial. So Danny is going to walk us through why you should have a hair trial and some of the things that you can do in your hair trial to feel super confident and prepared for the big day. So when you wake up on the morning of your wedding, you know exactly what to expect. So have a listen to what she had to say.
Hey there, Danny Patterson here. I'm a bridal hairstylist. I'm based in 2 locations, Monaghan and Dublin, and I travel absolutely everywhere for a bride's special day. My business has just won the Weddings Online Awards for Best Newcomer 2024, and I'm absolutely chuffed. Today I'm going to dive right in and chat about not skipping your hair trial. I know some of you might be thinking, sure, isn't that just an extra expense? But trust me, it's not. That beautiful hairstyle you dream of isn't a gamble you want to take. Firstly, communication is key. We'll get to know each other. This part is definitely one of the most important parts for me, as I am one of the first suppliers you'll see on your wedding morning, and I stay right up until you're walking down the aisle for your ceremony. So this is just as important as the hair itself. We'll chat about your hair care routine, your face shape and any concerns you have, and I can answer any burning questions you have also. Then we'll chat about your inspiration photos and everything in between, like your hair texture and colour and how this will impact your overall look. We'll also chat about hair extensions. I actually supply a range of hair extensions for trials, so all brides get the replica visual on trial day, as opposed to the suspense of having to wait to use the hair extensions for the first time on your wedding day. So yeah, there is a lot of brands out there on the market, and for the most part, all of the Irish ones are definitely top notch. I would advise just to make sure that they're real hair that you're going for on your wedding day, regardless of what brand it is that you're using. Another reason why I think a trial is so important is to build your confidence. Imagine waking up on your wedding day and feeling stressed about your hair because you haven't tried it beforehand. Nah, use the trial to see yourself styled as a bride. So personally, I have found out something new about myself in the last 6 months or so, and I've implemented it into my bridal trials. I love to create and edit photos and videos. I discovered this while doing my social media pages. I actually add the reels into the bridal trials now as an extra added bonus for brides to usually see their bridal hair in real time, from every angle, with and without a veil, and different hair accessories. or no hair accessories, whatever the bride wants to go with, I can avail of. It is going down a tree, and the feedback has been phenomenal.
Well, that was Danny Patterson talking to us about hair trials. And I always say, don't skip your hair trial. And just as Danny said, it gives you an opportunity to really see what your hair is going to look like on the day. It helps you to build a relationship with your hairstylist. She's going to be with you on the morning of your wedding day. And then, of course, it means when you wake up on the day, you're not stressed about your hair because you know exactly what's been planned. Well, our final wedding hair care mistake that we are talking through today is don't be unprepared. So if you want to make sure that you are as prepared as you can possibly be, here are a few things that you can do. When you go to your wedding hair trial, bring all your accessory options with you. So if you haven't decided if you're going for the hairpiece or a really beautiful clip, or if you don't know if you're wearing a veil or not, bring all your options with you. And at the hair trial, your hairstylist can show you what different things look like. So you can decide beforehand which things are going to match your overall wedding look, which things work best with the hairstyle, what makes you feel most confident, and your hairstylist is going to be able to help you make those decisions. The next thing you can do is you can take photos of your dress to your trial. It's really helpful if your stylist can see what the dress looks like, then it helps to make really crucial decisions on the type of style that you go for with your hair. For example, you may have a really, a really beautiful detail on the back of your dress, and maybe you've always envisioned having your hair long and loose, but then it might cover the detail of your dress, and your hairstylist might say, I know, why don't we try this type of style, which still shows off the length and volume of your hair, but also highlights how amazing the back of the dress looks. So those kind of things can be really, really helpful. If you have a picture of the dress, a picture of you in the dress is extra helpful. Then between you and your hairstylist, you can make decisions about how your hair can help to highlight the rest of your bridal look, and you can work together on that. The next thing you can do is to be prepared, start a good hair care routine before your wedding day. Don't wait until the week before your wedding day to put on a new hair mask for the first time, because firstly, like we said, starting a new routine, having new products could end in disaster, but it also helps to have a good hair care routine for months leading into your wedding day. So if you're listening to this episode now and you're thinking, I'm getting married in 6 months' time, or a year's time, or 18 months' time, it's never too early to start a good hair care routine. And that could be different for each person based on what you're currently doing, based on what your hair needs. You could always chat to your hairstylist who's going to be doing your hair on your wedding day, get some advice on your unique hair needs. But it could be something like, doing a conditioning treatment. It could be, having a well-timed trim on your hair just before the wedding day. But whatever you do, don't put it off. For you, it could be as simple as drinking more water, which is always a good thing for your hair and your skin as well. And then finally, if you want to be really prepared, ask your hairstylist when it's best for you to wash your hair before the big day. What I have heard is if you wash your hair on the day, it makes it harder for your hairstylist to style because your hair gets silky smooth and silky clean, and that kind of squeaky clean feeling, which whenever I've tried to style my hair like that, the style just falls right out. So ask your hairstylist if there is a magic time window where your hair is clean and shiny, but not so clean that it makes it difficult to style. So ask those questions. Your hairstylist might say it doesn't matter, depending on the style that you've gone for, depending on the products that are used, depending on your unique hair texture. But those are the questions that you should be asking so that you are prepared on your wedding day. So a quick little recap of the bridal hair care mistakes that we're going to avoid. We're going to avoid choosing the wrong hair extensions, and we're also going to avoid waiting until the last minute to pick the hair extensions that we're using. We're going to avoid experimenting with new products at least 6 months before the wedding day. We're going to avoid skipping that hair trial, and we're going to avoid being unprepared. Well, thank you for listening today. The Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online podcast is produced by me, Kelly, and mixed, mastered, and edited by Glenn Hartman. For more wedding planning tips, advice, checklists, and more, visit weddingsonline.ie.